Hello, good evening, and welcome to Pulse of the Week. Today is Friday, 31st of October 2025. My name is yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah, and we have some 102 days to go for the major primaries for the opposition New Patriotic Party. We told you we have started our countdown, and today is 102 days to go for that very crucial primaries. Today, we have uncompromising stories making major headlines in our country. When I return, we'll begin with it. This is NSG News, and this is Pulse of the Week. We'll begin with a news update after this breather. Once again, my name is Kofi Asante Mensah. Fiercely independent. We'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and I'm glad you have joined us. Wherever you are watching us from, this is the Republic of Ghana, and from our luxurious studios here in Adenta, Amahia, in Accra, we are happy to come your way. Please do join us because we are streaming live on YouTube right now, and our handle's name is NSG News TV. Please search for us, like our page, and subscribe to it. Also, you can share some few comments with us, and always we'll be glad to read it to the rest of the world. Our website is www.nsgnews.com, and this is Pulse of the Week. We begin rather on a visiting note because the German president is actually visiting the country from the 2nd of next month. Actually, November. November begins from tomorrow. So we have this very story for you. The President of the Federal Republic of Germany, His Excellency Frank-Walter Steinmeier, is set to embark on a 3-day state visit to the Republic of Ghana. And it begins from Sunday 2nd to November 4. 2025. According to a statement from the presidency, the visit will begin officially on Monday with an inspection of a full military guard of honor at the forecourt of the presidency here in Accra. President Steinmeier will then hold a closed-door meeting with President John Dramani Mahama, followed by bilateral talks between their respective delegations in the credentials room. The discussions are expected to focus on strengthening Ghana-Germany relations with emphasis on trade, investment, technology, and development cooperation. A state luncheon will be hosted in honor of the visiting German president and his delegation at the presidential banquet hall later in the afternoon. As part of his visit, President Steinmeier will tour the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, where he will lay a wreath at the tomb of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He is also expected to engage with a young Ghanaian IT specialist and later attend a reception at the German ambassador's residence. On Tuesday, the final day of his visit, President Steinmeier will travel to Kumasi, where he will perform a sword-cutting ceremony at the Kumasi Technical Institute. He will also meet with the Vice-Chancellor, staff, and alumni of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. I must say, the German leader will then visit the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research and pay a courtesy call on the Asante Hene Otumfuo Setutu II at Mensah Palace before departing Ghana later that evening. We'll be showing you pictures of this noble president of Germany pretty shortly. Please stay with me. And we have more stories here for you on NSG Pulse of the Week, and this is our news update. This evening, we are learning that President John Dramani Mahama has terminated the contract between SML, and this is the information coming through this evening. President John Dramani Mahama has ordered the immediate termination of all contracts with Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited SML following the completion of an investigation by the Office of the Special Prosecutor OSP. The directive communicated through a letter signed by the Secretary to the President Dr. Kalisios Mahama and addressed to the Minister of Finance Dr. Kissel Atoforsen instructed that all existing agreements with SML be swiftly brought to an end. According to the letter, the move forms part of government's commitment to accountability and transparency in management of the public resources. We have more stories here for you, and we want to begin our stories this evening by showing you some videos of the tragic incident that happened with respect to the assault of a pharmacist, and what we are learning is happening now. I have so many angles to this very story, but let's pick this very angle primarily. And we are learning, I think on Thursday or Wednesday, we saw a viral video that actually went really viral, indicating a military man assaulting a pharmacist. And this is the story. We are learning the Ghana Armed Forces has actually condemned that very incident, and he has been arrested as well. Okay, let me pick the story here for you on NSG News Updates. www.nsgnews.com and our channel's name on YouTube. Because we are streaming live, this is NSG News TV. And this is the story about the police, the military officer, a soldier identified as Warrant Officer Class 1, W01 Mensah Williams of the Ghana Air Force has been arrested by military police for allegedly assaulting a young woman and a pharmacist at Burma camp in Accra. According to sources within the Ghana Armed Forces, the incident occurred earlier this week when the soldier, who is reportedly attached to the office of the Chief of Staff, physically assaulted the victims inside a pharmacy located within the camp. A widely circulated video of the incident shows a tall, dark complexioned man angrily confronting the pharmacist before slapping him and then turning on a female customer. The footage further shows the soldier delivering several blows to the woman's head after she attempted to record the altercation on her phone. Watch this video.
In a video that has since gone viral, a soldier in plain clothes identified as Warrant Officer Class 1 Williams Mensah is seen angrily walking towards a pharmacy. He snatches what appears to be medication from a boy who was following him. His first words are to inquire about what the pharmacy attendant had said. Moments later, he begins demanding a refund. The pharmacy attendant is heard pleading with him to be patient, but the soldier continues to insist on getting his money back. A woman standing inside the shop also tries to calm him down, but he pushes her aside. The woman questions why he pushed her, prompting the soldier to approach her again. When she attempts to film the incident, he strikes her twice in the face and once on her body. Williams Mensah then turns his attention back to the pharmacy attendant, repeatedly hitting him about 8 times on the face, stomach, and other parts of his body, all while demanding his money. According to sources, W01 Mensah had sent his son to purchase medication worth 65 cedis. However, upon realizing that he did not want the brand that he got, he asked that it be returned for a refund. The pharmacy, however, reportedly explained that medicines sold are non-refundable, a policy that allegedly triggered the assaults.
So that's the video. Quite pathetic over there. And the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, PSGH, has expressed deep concern and outrage over a viral CCTV video showing a non-uniformed officer of the Ghana Armed Forces physically assaulting a pharmacy staff member and a female client at the premises of E-Pride Chemist located at Burma Camp in Accra. The officer, identified as Warrant Officer 1, W01 Mensah Williams, was captured on video attacking the victims in what the society has described as barbaric, reprehensible, and utterly unacceptable act of violence. In a press statement or a press release issued on Thursday, October 30, the PSGH confirmed that a delegation had visited E-Pride Chemist to verify reports and to offer direct support to the pharmacy's care system. The society assured the affected staff and client of its full backing and commitment to ensuring that justice is served. Of course, justice must be served. And I have this press statement here from the Office of the Public Relations of the Ghana Armed Forces. I would love to read it to you. And it says this gentleman we are talking about has been arrested. And not only arrested, there are several things it communicates. And I'd love to read that statement for you this evening. And we are learning also that the woman this armed force officer assaulted is also somebody who is also related to the military. Okay, let's pick that story. New details have emerged regarding the female customer who was subjected to physical assault by a soldier identified as W01 William Mensah at a pharmacy at Burma Camp on October 29, 2025. And we are learning, according to media personality Sadiq Adams, the female victim is reported to be the daughter of the former provost marshal of the military police. He explained that the rank of provost marshal is a senior military position responsible for overseeing law enforcement, discipline, and security within the Ghana Armed Forces. The position also ranks higher than the suspect's rank of W01. So you go around to beat the daughter of your superior. That's quite intriguing. That's very, very intriguing. So this week we had the special prosecutor or office of the special prosecutor hold a press conference to give us an update on several matters or several corruption related matters and investigation they have conducted. And this is what Kisi Ejabin has to say to the media in his presser.
Monitoring constructs. The OSP highly commends Evans Eziamo Mensah, Ajwa Adubia Owusu, and Manase Azuri Awuni. We are very grateful for your service. Ghanaians, thank you. Extradition matters. It would occur to you in my submission that the main suspect in respect of the concluded SML investigations is the former finance minister or a former finance minister, Kenneth Nanayao Ofori-Atta. We recall that in February, the OSP declared him a fugitive from justice and placed him on our list of wanted persons. The OSP drew a lot of flack that we were going after a very sick person. But our intel told us, and we very well knew, and we kept insisting and telling Ghanaians that he just did not want to come into the country voluntarily to answer to these charges. We did not relent, even in the face of the negativity. We went ahead. When we relaxed, placing him on the list of wanted persons on representations that he may show up at a certain time, some members of the public took it as weakness in us. Although what we were doing was that if a person says that they are so ill that they cannot show up, you grant them that regard for them to heal before they come in. But on his own stated date, he failed to show up, whereupon we placed him back on the list of wanted persons. Then we drew more negative flack that we were talking too much. But all that time, we knew exactly what we were doing because our intelligence was solid, that this person just didn't want to come to the country voluntarily. By monitoring constructs, the OSP highly commends Evans Eziamo Mensah, Ajwa Adubia Owusu, and Manase Azuri Awuni. We are very grateful for your service. Ghanaians, thank you. Extradition matters. It would occur to you in my submission that the main suspect in respect of the concluded SML investigations is the former finance minister, or a former finance minister, Kenneth.
All right, so you saw over there the OSP Kisi Ejaben making some. I have an editorial on this very subject, and my editorial is directed to the lawyer of the former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta. And when we get to that session, we would explore that very editorial very well. But I have another video, but because Manasseh Azuri-Awini is also commenting, and the OSP or the SP, the special prosecutor, also did mention, and Manasseh is corroborating that very indication, and he is an investigative journalist. Manasseh Azuri-Awini has alleged that former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta played a central role in extending the crucial Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited (SML) contract to the mining and petroleum sectors, despite objections from key regulatory agencies. This issue that Manasseh has raised is initially raised by the OSP, and he calls Ken Ofori-Atta as the masterminded person in this transaction of malfeasance against the state with respect to this SML. If that video is ready, you can show it. All right, so we'll do some more stories here for you on NSG News Update. This is Pulse of the Week with your man, Kofi Asante, Mensah, fiercely independent, and this is news with integrity. Let's get to Parliament and talk about some repeal of the LI, because the government side of Parliament, I mean the majority side of Parliament, are indicating the revocation of certain LI legislative instruments, and we're glad to lead you into that very story. The government has laid before Parliament the Environmental Protection Mining in Forest Reserves LI, that is Revocation Instrument 2025, the legislative instrument which is expected to mature into law in the next 21 sitting days, seeks to revoke LI 2501, which limited the president's power to authorize mining in forest reserves, and completely revoke LI 2421. The move forms part of government's renewed efforts towards the fight against illegal mining, also known as Galamsey. The Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology said the repeal forms part of a broader national strategy to combat illegal mining, including initiatives such as the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program and the works of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS.
So today I laid an instrument in Parliament, the Environmental Protection Mining in Forest Reserves Revocation Instrument 2025. If you recall, in LI 2462, which was enacted in 2022 to ensure that environmental management principles are legally enforced in mining operations in forest reserves. There was obviously a public outcry. That led to an amendment of that LI by deleting Regulation 3.2 to effectively limit the powers of the president to allow mining forest reserves. Obviously, that led to the new LI 2501, which was entered into force on June 2nd, 2025. However, in the light of continued public outcry, as a listening government, and after complete consultation and review with experts, it was very clear that we could completely revoke that LI and to use the guidelines that was enacted in 2020. And so that's effectively what I've done today. And it clearly must send a message that this government is committed to basically ensuring that we continue to protect our pristine forest reserve and our environment. We are keeping our word. We are showing Ghanaians we are committed to protecting the environment, to protecting the forest, to protecting our water bodies, and every step we are taking is clearly in line with what President Mahama has been preaching.
So that is the minister over there, and we are looking forward to this very repeal. We are the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining and a couple of other stakeholders, including civil society organizations. We are really looking forward to this very, very repeal. The other one we are also looking forward to is the passage of the LGBTIQ law, okay, the bill into law. All right, let's still remain in Parliament because Parliament has stalled over lack of quorum. Only 92 MPs present, and the Speaker wasn't happy at all. All right, let's watch this video.
Business, they have the numbers by themselves to form a quorum to take decisions. They have the numbers by themselves to form a quorum to even take fundamental decisions, which requires 2/3 of all members of Parliament. And as one of them once said, they can run this 9th Parliament without a minority. And therefore, the question that many Ghanaians are asking, why are they not attending to the House? Why are they not taking their business as members of Parliament seriously? And why are they not showing up? And why is this majority turning out to be an absentee majority? And this is why we think we should communicate to the Ghanaian people who elected these 189 members of Parliament, who gave them the supermajority and 2/3, to know that we, the minority in this House, are very prepared, ready, and willing to help them conduct government business. But it will appear that they are not cooperating with the minority to get President Mahama's business and government business to go through. And when that happens, it's the Ghanaian people who suffer. Today, on the order paper, we have a litany of important bills and important items which are required to be considered and taken by the House to get government business to move forward. And yet, we have had to wait to grapple with the issue of quorum. I want to conclude by making one other point. One will say that some of them are ministers. There's foreign minister, there's that, and they travel and all of that. But the point is, you have this big majority, and so even if the system ministers President Mahama has are all members of Parliament, and all of them even are unable to attend to Parliament, you have enough numbers, sufficient numbers to form quorum, to have quorum to conduct business, to have quorum to take decisions, and to ensure that the work of the legislature moves on smoothly.
The former Director General of the National Service Authority, NSA, Mr. Osei Esibe Entry, has entered a plea of not guilty to 14 counts of alleged financial misconduct preferred against him by the state. The charges include causing financial loss to the Republic, stealing and money laundering, and allegedly involving sums exceeding 1.5 billion Ghana cedis. At the hearing on Thursday, October 30, Leadership Justice Gzita Na Kowa Kwashi admitted the accused to bail in an amount of 800 million. The terms require 6 sureties, each of whom must provide immovable property valued to match the bill sum as surety.
In the first case, Justice Audrey Kofi granted bail worth 150 million cedis to Abdul Hanan and his wife, Faiza Saiduguni, who are facing 24 counts of stealing, defrauding by false pretenses, and the intentional dissipation of public funds. The accused, both of whom have pleaded not guilty, are also charged with using public office for profit and money laundering in connection with alleged financial irregularities at the National Food Buffer Stock Company. Abdul Hanan was granted bail in the sum of 100 million Ghana cedis with 6 sureties, 4 of whom must justify their worth with landed property. His wife, Faiza Wuni, received a 50 million cedi bail with 4 sureties, 3 to be justified with property within a country's jurisdiction. Both are required to report to the investigator every Wednesday, deposit their passports, and are to be placed on the stop list at all entry and exit points. The case has been adjourned to November 27 for the case management conference, by which time the prosecution is expected to file disclosures. In a related development, the former executive director of the National Service Authority, Ofori-Atta, has also been granted bail in the sum of 800 million Ghana cedis by the High Court, presided over by Justice Kizita Kwashi. Mr. Ofori-Atta is facing 14 counts of financial crimes, including stealing, money laundering, and causing financial loss to the state, estimated at more than 1.5 billion Ghana cedis.
You know, if you look at the last election, some were in complete shock
of the results.
Yes. While we were telling them 6 months before that
So you are a traitor or what? I don't know.
The last person who will be a traitor in this country will be me. I'm very patriotic.
It is alleged that NDC is sponsoring you to do their dirty work. Let me put it that way. That's my word, dirty work, to discredit the advances of the MPP. You've been drawn into partisan politics. How do you come out of this one?
One, I have not been contracted, required to do anything for NDC against any entity in this country. Absolutely not. I don't belong to the NDC. I don't belong to the MPP. I don't have political party affiliation with any other party. No. Now look, where we are in Hacho now. I remember when I was going to write the O-levels, I didn't have money to pay for the fees. So I had to carry labor, do by day labor. Here. We're one of those who started building houses in this area as a laborer. You have to even go and carry the cement from afar because there were no buildings to store them in. This would be the shock. We were branded as mad people. Well, the numbers we were banding around was in excess of a 2.something million gap. We have to realize that the country, Ghana, has changed profoundly, even from 2016 levels.
I think it wasn't Ghana government funded.
No, it wasn't Ghana government funded. No, on your own you struggle, and then you go to Denmark. I remember when I arrived in Frankfurt on my way to Denmark, I had only $500 in my pocket, and that was to pay for your accommodation, pay for your feeding, pay for everything.
Hi, and welcome back. This is the program that takes an uncompromising look at the major stories in this republic called Ghana and brings you the major stories. This Pulse of the Week, and this is NSG News. We are streaming live on YouTube, and the channel's name is NSG News TV. Our website is www.nsgnews.com. Please share your comments with us, and we'll be glad to read it to the rest of the world. And this is your man, Kofi, Asante, Mensah, fiercely independent. Let's do some more stories here for you. Let's enter the world of fire and distractions of fire. A massive fire has razed the newly opened China City Mall at Santasi in Kumasi, destroying the entire structure and goods worth thousands of cedis. The inferno, which started on Thursday, October 30, engulfed the commercial facility, leaving in its wake a scene of heavy damage and thick smoke visible from several meters. Officials from the Ghana National Fire Service say the cause of the fire is yet to be determined.
Yes. So the fire was able to spread very, very fast. I learned they went on break, and when they were on break that this fire occurred. As to how it occurred, we are here to find out. Yes, so basically this is what is happening. Yes.
Has there been any casualties recorded so far?
For now, no. We have not seen or heard of any casualty. Yes.
So there was nobody inside, and in fact, with the plumes of smoke coming outside, have any of the staff been sent to the hospital or so?
No, we haven't heard of anything like that. Yes. I believe looking at the nature of the fire, they were able to run out because they couldn't just withstand it. Yes.
I can see some 2 fire tenders around. I want to understand, would that be able to douse the fire that's here, or you are calling for more?
We don't. It's not 4, 2. We are 4. We have often called for the drip water tankers to come. Yes, we have called for them. Unfortunate thing is that we don't even have hydrant around the whole area. Otherwise, if we should have a constant and continuous flow of water, at least we'll be able to do something. As you can see, if you go around the building, it is not even safe for a fireman to enter. It's just waiting. In no time, it will collapse. It will collapse.
So the entire building can collapse?
Yes. You can go around and look at it for yourself. The building will collapse in no time. So it's not advisable that people should enter. Yes.
Will it help if we bring excavators here to come and help pull it down as early as possible so that we can manage the fire some way, somehow?
The building, if you go there, you yourself, you will see that it has to go. Now it has tilt. Apart from the cracks, it has tilt. It want to cave in. Yes. Yes. Yes, they've gone. We have been told there is
the drip water tankers at KMA are coming.
Yes.
We have asked them to fuel and get the tanks filled with water to come and be on standby to assist firemen. For the look of things, if we don't get a lot of tankers here, it will take us days to deal with this particular situation. And so those of the radio people who are here and can have access to your radio stations, we are making a passionate appeal to owners of tankers within our private owners of tankers within our metropolis that this is a call to humanity. If you have a water tanker anywhere that can be brought to Santase and its enclave, please rush, be in a hurry, bring it to assist us. We are coming with what government has provided, but that will not be enough for us to speedily deal with the fire. There are other properties behind this facility that we have to protect. If we have lost this one, we should not lose the other ones, and it will depend on the preparedness of the firemen that will help us be able to prevent those houses from being attacked. As you see, you can see there are a lot of firemen here. Once we assist them with the right logistics, we'll be able to manage the situation. So those of you who have access to your radio station, please let's make an emergency appeal to them for them to bring their water tankers here so that they will assist us to manage the situation as early as possible.
So you heard right there the Kumasi mayor, that's the Kumasi city mayor, King Zuba, and also the
Beza of the Northern School of Business Senior High School, Nabisco Fidelia, has turned herself into the police after large quantities of foodstuffs meant for students were allegedly found in her house. According to NSG news sources, 9 bags of maize were found in the school's minibus ready to leave the stores when a team of volunteers apprehended the drivers Al-Hassan, Suleimana and Usman Asma on Thursday, October 30. That's quite intriguing. That's very intriguing. And I'm not sure it's only this very school that we have seen a Beza do this. Okay, I know several schools, and would call upon the Ministry of Education and also the Ghana Education Service to take a good look at this sort of behavior. And this man should be punished. Seriously, he should. All right, after this small breather, just a second breather, we would enter into discussion with AIM Liquid, a media personality, and we would discuss more about what transpired this week. I have some 3 major stories I'm sharing with AIM and pick up his take on all of these stories. And one has to do with the Burma camp assault of the pharmacist and the lady at that very pharmacy, and also we'll look at the OSP press conference and whether or not we'll be able to bring back Ken Ofori-Atta into this country for prosecution. And I told you I have editorial on it. After I engage AIM, I'll come up with my editorial. We'll also look at why fire outbreak here, fire outbreak there. The China City Mall was barely 6 months old. Now it's been raised down to ashes. Stay with me. After this, brother, we'll enter into discussion. Hi there. What number is this? 3, right? All right. It's time for NSG News. Welcome. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah. And here at NSG News, you'll get serious documentary to watch, news, reviews, views, and what have you. Because we have Pulse of the Week and also exclusive on the hot seat. On NSG News, we say news with integrity. Hello and welcome back. It's your man Kofi Asante Mensah. Just a reminder, this is the program that brings to you uncompromising stories. We take a good look at them. The major stories, we digest them here on the program for you. It's called Pulse of the Week, and it's live on NSG News TV on YouTube. Our website is www.nsgnews.com. Please read more from our website and also join us on our very many social media platforms, especially on YouTube, because we are there now and we are streaming live. And we have 102 days. We started a countdown when we had 111 days to the NPP elections. And today I have a story about the NPP, but I'll share with you later on. Now I want to enter into discussion with AIM Liquid. AIM, if you can hear me, good evening from Ghana. All right, AIM, maybe you have to unmute so I can hear you. AIM, it's good to see you. Good evening from Ghana. All right, so I'm trying to hear AIM and enter into a very good discussion with him this evening. We will not spend much time, but I can promise you it will be very intriguing and very intellectual. We'll first take a good look at that pharmaceutical story where the military man assaulted the pharmacist and a client who has come to that very pharmacy to buy from there. What really went on? The investigation is underway. It's ongoing. He has been arrested, and there have been so many things about all of this. Amy, if you can hear me, let me take your take on this very incident that happened here in Ghana, where a military man angrily enters a pharmaceutical shop and starts to throw some blows and beat people up. All right, so our team is working on AIM's voice. I can see you, but I can't hear you. So I want you to, I don't know if it's on mute or something, but we are checking it to bring you AIM's perspective on these very important topics we have for you. That very story is very tragic. And this is not the first time military man or military men have gone on rampage, all right, to more or less take the law into their own hands and vandalize, beat people up. It happened in the northern region, right? We are here in Accra, Adenta. It happened just at our backyard over here in Ashaman. Yes, Ashaman, just right here, all right? A military man was assaulted at dawn and murdered, and we had helicopter fly over the atmosphere of Ashaman. I think AIM is back now. AIM, can I hear your voice? Well, I still can't hear AIM, and let the technical team work on it for me. And it's happened here in Ashaman. Helicopter were just running around the atmosphere of Ashaman. They got people out of their rooms and rounded them up and assaulted them. Took canes to ship them. I think it was wet morning like that, and made them to swim in the mud. People who have dressed and they were going to work. They made them to just lie on the floor, obey before complain, run around, turn yourself on the floor. And in the northern region, if my memory serves me right, it has to do with the phone of a military man. I think got missing or something like that, and they took to the streets. They were shipping people just like that. Everybody they will see you, they will just whip you, cane you, assault you, and so on. So are we living in a democratic republic, or this is a military state where military people are in the helms of affairs and they do whatever they like? Are you happy with the information as brought by the Office of the Public Affairs Department of the Ghana Military or the Armed Forces? Are you happy with it? I am not. I am really not. And we want to know. It's about time. Don't tell us. We will punish the person, but the public will not get to know about what punishment you've given to the person. And that's not the first time, like I said. We get to know about, the military, they will have a way to punish them. The military, you can't joke with them. They will punish this man. They will punish them. They will punish them. But the public will never get to know the type of punishment they give to these officers. And that is not a good one. Go back to AIM. All right. We want to show you a video my producer informs me. Let's go for that video spot. And when I come back, I'm very confident AIM's video will be, link will be very okay for us to interact with him. Please stay with him.
Overall, if you aggregate everything out of the 16 regions, we find that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is leading in 14 of the regions, whilst Honorable Kennedy Ohinia-Agyapong leads in 2 of the regions. Interestingly, we find an interesting trend, even though it looks like a 2-horse race. When we come to the eastern region, we find Honorable Dr. Brian Achampong also making some presence in the eastern region, even though he's not leading. But this is where he's showing the most presence relative to all the other regions. So, what basically this is saying is that if elections were held today, the MPP primaries were held today, and we are supposed to use this as a basis which is random and represents quite a number of the delegates who, in fact, is more than 10% of the delegates who are going to elections. This would mean that 63.8% of the delegates Mahmoud Bawumia, whilst Honorable Kennedy Ohinia-Agyapong would have obtained 28.9% of the vote. Other members in the race, which is Honorable Brian Achampong, he would have pulled 4.6%, while the 4th place would have been Honorable Yao Osei Educhum, who would have made 1.5% and 1.2% for Kwabena Agyapong, respectively. This basically is what our work.
All right, so that's the New Patriotic Party. I told you we have 102 days to go. And this story is talking about reasons why Bawumia is leading with some 63.8%, according to a latest poll by Africa Policy Lens poll. All right, Bawumia is leading. Global Info Analytics indicates that and gives Bawumia some 70-something%. And this is Africa Policy Lens poll, and they give Bawumia some 63.8% lead among the other contendants. I think AIM's link is okay now. AIM, good evening.
Good evening.
Grateful I can hear you now. Good to hear your voice, AIM. I hope you're doing well, sir.
I am excellent. I am strong.
We thank God for life. And let's zoom into it. This is a video that got so many people here in Ghana infuriated, and they were not really happy about it at all. A man who sent for some drugs and wasn't happy with the result or the outcome of how the purchase went, very angry, opened the doors of this pharmaceutical shop, guessing to beat up people. What was your initial reaction when you saw this video?
I mean, let's look at it from family point. How will I feel if my sister is being beaten for no apparent reason? I mean, if that lady was with his boyfriend, husband, that would have been more serious, because he would not stand and watch her wife, fiancée, sister to be beaten for just wanting to say something. Of course, I wouldn't tolerate that. So from that perspective, it's unacceptable. I heard you talk about not too long, maximum 3 years ago, when the military was in Ashama brutalizing Ghanaians because a military man was lynched to death. I remember that I did a program on that. It's still on NSG News. You can go watch it, and we write a short report on it. There were Ghanaians that were saying that that is justified because of the area this problem was. I disagree, and I was opposed to it. So we should not be surprised that yet another military man feels that he's entitled enough to do whatever it is that it takes for him to be heard. I don't know. I mean, we can only hear voices and noise in the background. Doesn't matter what the issue was. Outright is unacceptable. And ideally, that lady should be suing the man, or the military man, as much as possible. That's my first reaction. Of course, it's unacceptable behavior.
Very, very true. And are you also happy with the response from the Ghana Armed Forces, and also the condemnation from the Pharmaceutical Society of this republic, and the outrage generally by Ghanaians, especially on social media? Let's first take the response from the Ghana Armed Forces as issued by the Public Affairs Department of the Ghana Armed Forces, the GAF. They say the man has been arrested and investigations ongoing, etc.
It's okay for the military management or authorities to denounce and to disagree or outright condemn the behavior. As you said earlier on, there are many issues that happens. Then they say the association, or especially when it's got to do with the forces, the agencies, their procedure and policies to managing misbehavior is kept within. But this time we want to know, because it's not a military act alone, i.e. he has misbehaved during the camp. This is towards a civilian. Therefore, we have to see. We want to know what has happened. We want this man tried and tested, because the Constitution is clear on behaviors like this. Most importantly, he was not on duty. He was functioning as a civilian, and therefore he should be tried and tested as a civilian in the courts. So it's enough for the authorities to denounce and condemn the action, but more is required of them and of the authorities in general. Of course, if the lady decides not to press charges, that's another a different matter altogether. But with what is out there, the military should be challenged enough to act in accordance with how their own should be punished. Apart from, if there's not going to be any pressing of charges from the civilian, towards this individual, the military should still function. Of course, their denouncing of the behavior is okay, but we want more.
I heard Mr. Martin Kpebu, he's a legal, private legal practitioner. He indicated that he had an engagement with some of these military officers, I mean the leaders of these military officers, when the Ashama incident happened, okay? And he pronounced that some of these senior officers are not happy. And he says, Mr. Kpebu, this your democracy there, it will not help us, etc. Do you feel the military feel a law unto themselves and they don't respect civilians?
I will say this. I remembered, I think it was just from my senior high school or so. We just finished school. We're waiting to go to the tertiary. Then I was out with my friend. And normally when the military pass out, they come out to their towns and villages in their uniforms just to show off. So we met these two guys and we walked past them, myself and a friend of mine. And I was telling him, oh, look at those guys. Oh, he looks nice. That's nice of them. And they noticed we were talking about them, but they don't know what we were saying. So he turned around and walked to us and said, what are we saying? He wants to beat us up.
Really?
Me being me, I just out and I said, excuse me, beat us because of what? The whole thing has to do with we as a country, we have mentality issues. And these mentalities are going into government. These mentalities are going to the military. These mentalities are going to all the agencies. And so irrespective of their training, they feel entitled to function in a certain way. There's a need for overall overhaul of our mentality and mindset. And that's what is affecting our institution. If not because I restrained myself, and honestly, I was going to beat him up because I believe I can beat him up. Because I did nothing wrong. I was just appreciating the fact that he looks a uniform guy and he's in town. Oh yes, I was going to beat him up because I did nothing wrong. And this is what we have in our societies when uniformed men feel entitled and feel as though the Constitution, the laws of the land, does not apply to them. It just took my friend to hold me back because I was going to beat him up. And I know I can. I was young, exuberant. And this is the problem we have. So it's not enough to be saying that the Martin is saying this and this guy is saying that. We need to overhaul our mentality and mindset.
Right.
The entitlement attitude for which we even take into government is the problem. For which a government official thinks that they have the right to steal money rather than develop the country, that is the problem. And that's exactly what these gentlemen have demonstrated. It's not any different from what some of the government officials are doing. Entitlement attitude. We need a mentality overhaul.
Right.
If you ask me.
You see, this story you just shared about your personal engagement with some military persons also happened to me. I saw this military cars drive around Kpong, and I was just walking by the roadside, and it was so nice the way they were going. They are military cars.
Exactly.
And
we like them.
Well dressed. So I took my camera and I zoomed to video a little bit of it, the way they want me. Hey! You can imagine.
The interesting thing is that it turns out this gentleman lives next to my house. And so when the boys were out on one day, maybe me and being one of the guys in the area, we popped out and he was there. And so I told the guy, this was the guy I was telling you about who said he wants to beat me now. So this is the time for me to settle the matter. And then we all just settled down and then we shake hands. And then we told him what was going on. And it was nice and beautiful. We love our military men. We love our agency people. But the entitlement attitude needs to be fixed. And as a country, we need to fix our mind about country, people, governance, and security enforcement.
do we have to tackle how we train our military personnel from their training schools? And also, you know, police people have also engaged in assaulting journalists and civilians and what have you. Do we have to look at the way we train police and security officials, military, etc., in the curriculum they use? Do we have to look at it?
I don't think if you go into their curriculum, there's anything there that points to the fact that they should go and molest civilians. No. It's not there. I don't think it's there. I strongly believe it is not there. It is much more of how they have functioned over the years. We respect them, we are afraid of them, and therefore you can imagine when people have issues and they have friends in the military, they call him, he puts his uniform on and goes and brutalizes somebody. Maybe the person owes money. Tell me where in their policies, conduct, that there's something like that that you should, as an individual, be asked to go and enforce unofficially. The long and short of this issue is that we as a country, our thinking is wrong.
That's
and it
quite
affects
intriguing.
the way we behave. This same behavior is what you see on our roads when you are driving. It's the same behavior. What this man did is just like someone just going through the left and the right of you. When you challenge them, to blow horn on you and drive past you and give you the finger. It's the same behavior. Just that this time, it is more physical and direct. It's not any different to what happens on our roads. I repeat, as a country, we need to check our mentality and mindset.
Right. So, what do you make of this military WO1 William Mensah, who is linked to the office of the Chief of Staff? What should we do what advice do you have for the office of the Chief of Staff, whose a military member of that very office has been linked to this assault?
You know, earlier on, I'm not sure if it was yourself or I heard it on another channel where they were trying to say the lady, I think it was yourself, the lady's dad is a senior officer. And then, see, again, there we go. So if the lady's dad is not a senior officer, we should not follow through with the matter. We always look at the title of the person, the position of the person. No. This is basic and is constitutional. He has violated the rights of a Ghanaian, whether her dad is a government official, is the president or not. The law must flow. So if we go to where he works, yes, internally they may have conduct. If you violate or function in a certain way, contrary to the conduct expected of you, they can do whatever they want to do internally. And I expect them to do so. But we are coming back to the Constitution and the law of the land. If an individual violates the rights of another Ghanaian, what is the requirement? Let's put the military aside. Let's put the Chief of Staff aside. These are two Ghanaians. So let's not draw this matter into the fact that he works in the Chief of Staff office or the lady's dad is a senior officer. No. Let's stay with the fact that these are two Ghanaians and one has violated the other. It's as simple as that. Because this is what we do in Ghana. Oh, he's the minister's son. He's the president's son. And this and that. And then the functions of law, legalities becomes obsolete when we begin to play titles. So let's put those titles aside. Chief of Staff office, whatever position he occupies in the army, conduct issues, they can deal with it. But this matter is a Ghanaian has violated a Ghanaian. Let the Constitution and the law of the land function. It's as simple as that. That's how I see it.
Right. What do you also make of investigative outcomes? They always would tell us, sometimes the police is quite charitable. They share some investigation outcomes with us. But with the military, we do not get to hear anything about anything that happens with the violation of that occasions among a military person and a civilian or even a journalist, etc. We do not get to hear anything by way of report of investigation, the outcome. It's about time we take a good look at it. And someone,
I would think this I would think it's just because of the way the military function.
Right.
But this is what I'm saying. If we drill down on the fact that he's a military man, but he was functioning as a civilian at that point, and handle him as a civilian, because he was not on official duty. Let's stay with that. The journeyman was not on official duty. If he's not on for official duty and he violates the rights of a Ghanaian or breaks some of the policies, code of conduct, they can keep it within and drive it, the military police and all the things that they would do. But this one, he was an ordinary Ghanaian. He was not yes, he's an uniformed individual, but at the time of the incident, he was functioning as just a Ghanaian. What argument do we want to set on that?
That's correct. So that's
Kofi.
a video you can see over there, and that's how the assault actually happened. This is very bad. This is very bad, and I think I would
very bad. And this is not the first time.
Yes, the media.
And as I've said, if not because I stood up for myself, because I used to gym, I was a big guy, and I'm looking this guy in the face, he would have molested me. He'd have beaten me up for just saying he looks nice in his uniform. So it's not yesterday's issue. It has always been. Especially after the 1982 Ronnie's regime, when the military took over and the militias and people were molested with time. So it seems as though it has become a function of our society for uniformed men to behave like that.
So the truth is, what would have happened if we had no benefit of this CCTV footage? Because we have witnessed security officials assault people, even at the headquarters of the Ghana police, and they tell us they don't have videos to show. So if it wasn't this pharmaceutical company's CCTV video, we wouldn't have had the benefit of this footage we are watching live on NSG News right now. They would have come to deny it. Don't you think so?
There is a possibility of denial, and it's going to be your word against mine. But of course, there are two individuals there who could have witnessed for one another what has happened. But thank God for the CCTV cameras and the record of evidence that this actually took place. And that is a plus. But yes, there would have been some level of deniability if there was no visual evidence of what transpired.
It looks like we are being quite biased in our media discussions. It looks like we are always talking about the soldier assaulting a female, but there was a male guy who was also assaulted, giving blows. Are we not being biased?
You see, this is why I was saying earlier on that let's strip off the titles, who the person is, relates to, where he works, and just drill it down to a Ghanaian. So a Ghanaian is either a lady or a gentleman.
Right.
If we bring it down to the basics of a Ghanaian that has been violated, so it doesn't matter if it's a gentleman that was abused or violated, it's the violation of the provisions of our constitution.
Right.
So I don't think there's any. I don't see it as a biasness in a sense that this is the subject at the moment. If you show me something about what you're talking about, I'll talk about it. So this issue is not being addressed only because it's a lady. The issue is being addressed and being called to order. And the Ghanaians are shouting from the mountaintop for some justice to be served. Not because she's a lady, because her constitutional rights has been violated. Let's stick with that.
Right.
Leave the fact that she's a lady. He's a military man. They are both Ghanaians. bind by the provisions of Constitution. What does it matter if it's a lady? What does it matter if it's a man? Do you see where I'm coming from? Because time and again, this is what we do. When we begin to stigmatize, when we begin to draw lines, when we begin to draw certain other identities into the subject matter, beclouding what has transpired. For me, the long and short is a Ghanaian's right has been violated by another Ghanaian. Let the law take its course.
Its course. All right. Now, if you have just joined us, my name is Kofi Asante Mensah. This is Pulse of the Week, and I have my special guest on Zoom, a media personality and our boss. His name is M. Liquid, all the way in London. We're having this discussion, and our first subject we've discussed thoroughly has to do with the assault, a military man assaulting a pharmacist and also a female client here in Ghana. It happened just last Thursday, I think on Wednesday. Then the story actually broke on Thursday. We are going to aim. Let's talk about some fires in our country, because I don't have the stats with me right now, but I can tell you from January 1st to today, 31st of October, we've counted numerous fire disasters at marketplaces, etc. The latest is the one that happened quite yesterday at Kumasi, China City Mall. What do you make of all this inferno happening in our country?
About 4 months ago, I put together an article on the NSG News website. I think it's the absence of regulatory enforcement and maintenance being the fundamental cause of most of the fires, especially from the National Fire Service reports and investigations. It's just becoming too much. Notwithstanding the woefully equipped National Fire Service to combat these fires. You know, there was a time, there was time, there was a couple of some months ago, I was checked into some hotel, and I refused to use the boiler. I mean, the water immersion heater there. You know why? Because I don't trust the wiring. I don't trust it. So what I do is I switch it on. The water boils. I switch it off because I don't trust the earthing system, the cabling, because as I'm walking, I'm looking around and cables are hanging all over the place. The fire service has said over and again that most of the issues is inferior equipment, cabling, the wirings are not up to scratch. So again, it's back to, I don't know what has caused this one. There was one, Accra, Kumasi, everywhere in Ghana, major fires. And the fire service is saying maintenance issue, electrical failures. What else? What are we going to do? Where are the people supposed to be functioning in enforcing and checking that these things are up to scratch? Where electricity or wiring is the problem or reason for the fires? My question is, the electricity company individual that actually signed up and connected that house or that property, what did they check? Because the fire service is saying that the wirings are inferior, what test did the electricity company representative carry out to say this building can be connected to the national grid? Like I said, I don't know what has caused these particular fires, but I'm referring to the extensive reports from the National Fire Service of the cause of the fires in our country. And it's becoming too much. Livelihoods are ruined, businesses are gone. I mean, just name them. Where are the enforcers? I'll put a question back to you. Where are the enforcers? Where are the people supposed to be enforcing, checking that these things are up to scratch? I'll put it back to you, Kofi.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to get some more stats to work with this evening because it's quite outrageous the way fire incidents happening in our country. And sometimes, like you rightly mentioned, some Ghana National Fire Service officers would go in a taxi and they don't have cars. The facilities are not there. Our maintenance culture are very bad. People go to the market, prepare food over there with gas. People go there, they sell everything, everything that can easily be consumed by fire. They sell them over there, and they are prone to petrol, gas, and what have you. They prepare food over there. They sleep there. They light up coils and mosquito coils and what have you. These are all things that opens us up for fire disaster, and we've had quite too many of this, especially at the marketplaces, KJTia, Kantamanto, here and there. And I think it's too much. It's about time we take a good look. And we should not wait.
To Agbogloshi. Sorry, go to Agbogloshi or any of those big places and look at those corn mill. Look at the wiring, the electrical wiring in that place. How safe they are. They are not. But those guys are paying electricity bills. Somebody connected them. Are you saying they are all illegal connections? Perhaps these people said, their report says that inferior equipment. So question is, how are these inferior equipments getting into the country?
Yeah.
Who signed them off? They came to our ports. Because if they have rightly identified majority of the cause is electrical faults, lack of maintenance, which of course that the people need to be educated to maintain. But when it comes to the electrical side of things,
as a country, we don't take maintenance serious at all. At all.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go there. Look at our roads. You build, let me digress a bit. You build, you spend millions of Ghanaian money to build these overpasses, good roads with all the road markings. And 2-3 years later, the road markings are gone. No one goes back, or the council does not go back to reapply those markings. You know, sometimes I'm driving and I thought I'm in a queue, only to realize I'm in the middle. I'm not in any queue. I'm neither here or there. Maintenance is woefully inadequate in the country. It's almost absent.
Hey, so what should we do?
What should we do? Good question. We should begin to enforce it, because when you talk about this, people brush it off and say, "Oh, my friend, get out." Or what do you mean? I mean, we are managing. I mean, we know they complain. That's what somebody say, but we know they complain. Why they complain? So you see, it comes back to the mind again. Our mentality and mindset about things like this, very important, but we don't take them seriously. And I have this thing I always say, that if you want to see what we call grace, i.e. believers, Christians, that there's truly grace sufficient, go to Ghana. Because when I'm driving around, I'm telling myself, if there's no grace or there's no unseen force that is keeping us, the negligence, the misbehaviors on the roads, the lack of maintenance, all these factors suggest to me that more than half of Ghanaians should not come home when they go out. But they come home every day. That's grace. Because most things are not in order. Unlike other parts of the world, that you're driving, you know the next person is going to overtake you through your right side. In our country, Ghana, both sides, people are coming from everywhere, and you are like, what's going on here? The confusion is so much that I can only say grace is sufficient in that country because order is absent.
I love the way you put it, Grace. And I have some few stats to share with you over here. I've been quick to grab some few statistics over here. January to June 2025, we have recorded 3,595 incidents of fire and fatalities. 16 people have died as a result. Okay, this is just January to June 2025. Injuries 111 injured, and the most common areas of this fire disaster: Kantamanto Market, Accra, massive fire at the second-hand market on January 1 and January 2, 2025. Thousands of jobs, and if you like, economic loss over there. Abu Market in Tamale also witnessed some few fire disasters. Eastern region recorded some 526 incidents in the first 9 months of the year. And these are statistics that are quite heartbreaking. It's not good to hear. Fire every year, thousands of them, incidents of fire. Here in Medina, just close to us, Asante over here, Medina here, fire disaster every now. Medina market got burned. There was a satellite market close to the race junction also got burned, and so many places. I can't just count them. And I think it's about time we take a good look at this fire disaster in our country and Kofi, how it is worrying us economically.
Those statistics are not just numbers. They represent shattered dreams, lost life, properties, investments.
Right.
It goes beyond the numbers, you see. It goes beyond the numbers. And as you rightly asked, what are we going to do about it? The institutions that have been mandated with the responsibility to enforce, to check, and serve as check and balance should begin to function.
Right.
Enough of going and then accepting some tokens called bribe and walk away from the situation that you were there to solve.
Hey, let me now take your attention to corruption and corruption-related cases.
The fire service is woefully equipped.
Right.
Our hospitals are woefully inadequate. The ambulances are not there. Yet we are behaving in ways that requires the use of those things.
Let me now swiftly take your attention to some corruption and corruption-related cases, because this week the Office of the Special Prosecutor held a presser and updated Ghanaians on some corruption-related cases, including that one in line with Kenneth Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister. And I want to zoom in with you. Are you optimistic that we would apprehend Kenneth Ofori-Atta and bring him back to our country for prosecution to go through? Are you very convinced in your mind as a Ghanaian living in the UK? Do you think Ken would get into Ghana and face prosecution?
Am I convinced? If we look at the precedents of since 1992, when government comes and government goes, and there is allegations, scandals of malfeasance, corruption, what is the end result before another government changes? If I remember rightly, there was only, to the best of my knowledge, there was only one minister during Ronnie's time that was in prison. So since 1990, that's what I remember, except you have many numbers to give us. So if I'm looking at the precedents, I am not encouraged or to think that something is going to come out of it. So the long and short is, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, John Dramani Mahama, our president, who promised to fight corruption, should give us we are giving them the benefit of the doubt. So they should prove us wrong. They should prove us wrong by doing what Ghanaians expect of them. Because if you ask me if I am positive about what the outcome is going to be, no, I'm not. And that is purely based on precedent, what has been. So if they want to change the story and make us to trust and have confidence in the fact that if there is evidence to suggest malfeasance, corruption, mismanagement, actions will be taken, then they should prove it. So the ball is in their court, the mandate is given, These were the things they told us for which they were voted into power. They should deliver. So whether I am positive or not is not the issue. They should prove to us that they didn't just use that as a slogan to tickle our fancy, play the tunes that we want to dance to. Now they are in office and they're not going to deliver.
And
so
you don't also think...
How I feel is not the issue. Let them drive. If they have enough information, enough facts and statistics pointing to the fact that this man is a culprit, he's a fugitive, yes, there is international laws that govern how that man should be brought back. If Ghanaians want to exploit, they will exploit. So the issue is, do we really want to bring him back? Do we really want to bring Ofori-Atta back to Ghana?
That's a good question. And we're going to leave it here.
See, some parts of the world, the things we see from development to actions to security to legalities, they are deliberate. They are purpose. They meant they are going to do it and they do it.
Right.
But since 1992, as a child growing up, I've realized that we say the things not because we want to do them, but because we want to appeal to the people to mandate us so we can do what we want, not in the interest of the people. So like I said, I wrote something when Mahama took over that he is the only president that is well positioned to correct his wrongs of the past. Having sat 8 years to look back what he could have done. So and he is not going to be seeking any mandate again. So there's not going to be an issue of, oh, I need votes, therefore I don't want to do this. No. John Dramani Mahama, our president, is the best positioned president to do us good if he wants to. So,
well.
Office of the Special Prosecutor, he's been mandated to do the job. He should do the job. Enough. Yes, press conferences are okay. Numbers are okay. But we want action. We want them to act.
Hey,
let it be that they have requested for U.S. to repatriate or to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta to Ghana. And U.S. is refusing. Then it's a different matter altogether. Then we can't be shouting from the mountain that U.S. is abating crime in Ghana because this man is said to have committed crimes. You're refusing to release him based on international laws. But I don't think we've made that move yet. So we can't blame the U.S. yet. The ball is still in our court. Right. That's all I have to say.
Right. You're right on that. And Mahama says this is his legacy term. He's done 10 months. And we are witnessing quite some positives, or many positives, with John Mahama's second term, 10 months of his second term. I am quite careful. I'm optimistic though, but a little bit careful. So cautiously optimistic with regards to his corruption.
It's okay
fight.
to be optimistic. But
so
no, I'm not trying to antagonize you, my honorable host.
Right.
Look, we've been optimistic since 1992 for a lot of things, and they are still not done. Okay? So, optimism is okay. But the facts of the matter is before us. Let's use those facts, follow the process, and make a request of US to extradite this man back to Ghana to face. Yes, he may or may not be in running the issue through the courts with evidence. It may turn out that he's innocent. And yes, but we want him to be tried by the laws.
All right, hey, we have to leave it here. Thank you very much. And if you have some few last words you want to put across, that's fine.
Not much I'll have to say. All I have to say is that when it comes to the fires, um, our institution, Ghana National Fire Service, is woefully equipped, and yet we are behaving in ways that is giving them a lot to desire. There was a time that even fire hydrants have been built over, they are not accessible. So we have to become more responsible as country people, as enforcers, as agency people, even the military. Whatever position we find ourselves, let's function effectively, efficiently, patriotically for the Ghana we all desired. That's all I have to say. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. His name is Aim Liquid, a media personality and our boss here at NSG News. Thank you very much for spending some time with us all the way from the United Kingdom, London, and we are so grateful. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah. A quick breather. When I return, I have an editorial on the subject we finally discussed that has to do with Ken Ofori-Atta's extradition. Please stay with me. I'll be right back.
Get used to it. I have stepped into my new beginning. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday of darkness is gone. A whole new beginning. Get used to it. I've stepped into my new level. See me watching me flying on eagle's wing. A whole new beginning.
Hi there. What number is this? 3, right? All right. It's time for NSG News. Welcome. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah. And here at NSG News, you'll get serious documentary to watch, news, reviews, views, and what have you. Because we have Pulse of the Week and also exclusive on the hot seat. On NSG News, we say news with integrity. Hi, welcome back, and this is Pulse of the Week, Friday, 31st of October 2025, and this is my editorial on this very subject, which is in line with the OSP's press conference and the response we had from lawyers or the lawyer for Ken Ofori-Atta, and I captioned this one, Frank Davis, shut up and tell your kuntun kununku to return and face prosecution. That's the caption of my editorial. All right. Lawyer Frank Davis, we see the performance, the smoke screen, the theatrics. But enough is enough. Your repeated defense of Ken Kuntunkununku Ofori-Atta has crossed from zealous advocacy into the realm of public spectacle. Your jays at the special prosecutor, your accusations of media gimmicks, your scolding of press briefings, they reek of desperation, not justice. Let me be clear. The people of Ghana do not care for the rhetorics, acrobats. They demand accountability, Mr. Frank Davis. They demand that culpable public officials be held accountable for the misuse of public funds. If your client is innocent, let him stand in the full glare of open court, subject to cross-examination, not parading through radio waves as though public sentiment is his verdict. The facts are tendered, not for debate, but for duty. The Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, under the authority conferred by the 1992 Constitution and the OSP Act 959, has declared that serious financial irregularities have been unearthed involving former finance minister or the finance ministry, the Ghana Revenue Authority, and contracting parties linked to Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. The OSP has announced its intention to charge Ken Ofori-Atta and others by November 2025 when Ofori-Atta neglects lawful sermons while treating in foreign lands, offering only vague medical letters. The OSP declares him a fugitive and escalates to extradition initiatives. Interpol has even issued a red notice at Ghana's request for the ex-minister's possible detention and return. These are not matters for sound bites, Mr. Frank Davis. They are grave legal and constitutional questions. The OSP is not your podium, and you are not entitled to dominate the narrative while the law stares behind the scenes. And listen, Mr. Frank Davis, if the special prosecutor somehow violates constitutional provisions, oversteps authority, abuses processes, tramples rights, invoke the courts, that is the proper path. But do not stand in the open insulting institutions while hiding your client in foreign medical complexes and demanding media apologies instead of legal response. Mr. Frank Davis, you must shut up. Mr. Frank Davis, this is an advice for you. 1. Silence the microphone. Pick up the brief. Let your advocacy return to the courtroom where arguments matter most. 2. Tell Kuntun Kununkun, Ken Ofori-Atta, to return home. No more excuses for indefinite stay abroad. If the evidence is weak, prove it with facts and cross-examination, not with a public relations campaign. 3. Stop casting suspicion on the OSP's motive. If the OSP missteps, challenge them through the judicial system. But do not belittle an anti-corruption institution while shielding alleged misconduct with mock outrage. My fourth and final advice to you, Mr. Frank Davis. Respect the public's right to accountability. You serve a client, yes, but Ghana, the citizens, deserve closure, truth, and transparency. In sum, Frank Davis, shut up with your theatrics. Do your job. Defend your client vigorously, but within the law. And advise Ken Ofori-Atta to come home, face the charges, and let right prevail. Anything less demeans our democracy. And this is my editorial. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and this is NSG News. Just after this trigger. All right, so thank you very much. This has been our show for today. This is Pulse of the Week from the office of the NSG News here at Amahia Adenta in the heart of Accra, the middle or the center of the world. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, ably produced by Kofi Berry. Francis Entry, thank you very much. And a big thank you to our boss. His name is Justice Kluche, our operations manager, and to AIM Liquid, our executive producer. Once again, my name is Kofi Asante Mensah. This has been Pulse of the Week, and we are leaving you in the safe hands of our dear and beloved Daddy Lumba. And on the 6th, I think, on the 6th of December, his funeral will be organized in Kumasi. We'll be there to broadcast it live for you. This is one of his lovely performances. This one, he did it at where? UK, right? Yeah, this is lovely performance, and I love it so much. Please watch this to the end, and you will love it. Enjoy it.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man you've been waiting for, the one and only, the undisputable man of hip-hop and highlight music. Please welcome, Daddy LeBron! Ladies, I'm a winning blanket. I made you too many. I made your time and I'm a winning blanket. And you may know, now see, and I mean, you'll see, Mona, over Goya man. You may know, now see, and I mean, you'll see, Mona, over Goya man. Then gonna get Gonna say right. Gonna say gonna be Kofi. Oh yeah, no say gonna be then gonna get gonna say right. Gonna say gonna be Kofi. Oh yeah, no say gonna be oh you no say oh you no say oh you no say gonna say oh yeah no say gonna say oh yeah no say oh yeah no say I love you. And now see, baby. On and rock. Now see, baby. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna say, oh, don't go. I'm gonna go with you, baby. Oh, him.